Hey guys, Alucard here, also known as Wes Keldner's biggest fan. And today's video is all about the use of exploits in TCM. I'm going to explain my reasoning on why I think exploits are fine, and why people can be total hypocrites about accepting some exploits but then condemning people for others. One example that comes to mind is body blocking the fuse box exit in the basement. Many people who claim to never use an exploit I've watched do this, which is in fact also another exploit. The irony of all the contradictions and philosophical takes on what's okay or not always makes me laugh. A lot of the time people don't consider what they do an exploit even if it is one, or not intended by the developers. But I'll explain all that and more in the video, and I hope you guys enjoy watching. Obviously not intended, but everyone approved of it. I want to go into that. But anyways, this is the fuse exit, and this starts with like blocking the fuse. It's like from one of my thumbnails or whatever. So we're gonna, that's which is another exploit, but we're gonna talk about this. Exploits and unfair game mechanics, okay? So I'm gonna discuss the use of exploits and the contradictions about how some people find some are okay while others aren't, and how unfair game balance is the reason for a lot of these exploits being used in the first place. Like why people feel the need to even discover this shit and why they feel so justified in using it, including me. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to first go over some like known exploits. So the fuse box body block of the exit in the basement. Leatherface especially, or other family, but mainly Leatherface, can block the fuse box exit. So only technically Leland can stun him to get through, but otherwise no one could do anything to get past you. This is an early exploit, but it's been generally accepted as fair because the unfair nature of the fuse box escape where there's just no counterplay. That's why people view it as more fair. Even victims tend to view it as fair. And the reason is because the fuse box exit is just so easy to do, and so it has zero counterplay, and you can't stop it. If they do it in front of you, if they do it fast enough, like you literally can't stop it if you're not just camping it sometimes. And once they get it, there's no counterplay, they win. Sucks. So once this was starting to be done, it feels like now there's some counterplay. Now the devs should have actual counterplay, not us having the body block there, but they don't. And it's been a month. This is like an example of countering something that feels so unfair by default that if there was nothing discovered, people might not want to play Family ever already. Like it would have already happened because it's just so boring. And what's up, Escape? Yeah, Taekwondo stops it from working for some reason. I think it has to do with the extra stun time. Well, devs can't balance for a non-competitive part of the player base because they have matchmaking, which essentially ensures, the point of matchmaking is to ensure a competitive game. That's like the definition of that's why they have matchmaking of any sort. So you don't just play against noobs all the time, or people they try to avoid people of the complete opposite levels most of the time. So it's impossible for them to try to balance for something when they have a literal matchmaking system. So that doesn't make sense. I don't care what they said, they put in a matchmaking system, which they also said wasn't going to be in the game, but it is. But anyways, victims stun locking family, another exploit that's generally accepted. Like a very simple example: Leland shoulder tackles you, then he crouches behind you while you're still stunned. Guess what? As soon as he's spamming the button, so as soon as you get control of your character before you can even turn, you're instantly backstabbed. You can't move during a shoulder tackle. You can't move before he stuns you. That's a true stun lock that he can start from the start of the game if he wants, if he's fast enough, or near the start of the game. You have nothing you can do about it. It's completely unavoidable, and people do it all the fucking time, and they don't mind. And no one will, like, people will be like, that sucks, but they don't, like, condemn this person. Most people, and a lot of, not saying every victim, but a lot of victims will take complete advantage of this, which I understand. No counterplay. This is unfair and not fun, but it's also an exploit that's generally accepted as just part of the game. The instant stand-up rev. This one was upvoted 220 times. I didn't post this, some other guy did 4 days ago. I got no credit, of course, while people are posting facts in that thread that obviously they probably got from me. No offense, but you know what I mean about it. But this guy shows it, and everyone is happy about it. Even victims are like, you know what, I'm a victim, man, but shit, that guy deserved it. This is obviously not intended again, but people applaud it. Why? The reason is because the door slam shit is pretty unfair. They have priority. They have more range on the door. They can be outside. They can telepathically close the fucking door and vacuum you and know they can do it. And they can just hold you hostage there where you have to just eat it, or you have to like sit there losing time while the other teammates are making progress and this guy's just threatening something with the door open. Very stressful and annoying. So people are happy to see this. The Johnny sprint attack spam. Pretty much any streamer that's played Johnny does this, whether or not they like it. Some people use it, like me, to move around the whole map, Other people try to act like they're ethical philosophers, and they only use it when they're chasing people, but in some way, shape, or form, that sprint attack will catch them up to a victim as they try to kill them, which you could say is, you could argue, is part of the exploit, whether you're moving the whole map or not. At any point, what's the exact rule book on how far you have to be from the victim before you're allowed to try it? You know, like that's like very subjective. This is another example of just a kind of a, people have more complaint about this one, but it's a generally accepted, well, it's part of the game. Replacing padlocks to reset progress on lockpicking. It's a lesser known one, but people do this also. You can stop people that try to keep it at 2 out of 3 bars of progress. It seems to only work with the padlocks, but you can reset it by taking it off and putting the padlock back on. And the reason why this could be unfair, the 2 out of 3 bars of progress, is like on the gate on gas station with Connie, and then she goes through, and then she just runs to the exit, does her ability, and you lose. That's really not fun. Traps on the ladder, bugging out victims. People now will condemn you for it, but most people don't do it to bug them. They do it because they don't want them to come to the fucking ladder. That's what I do it, and I'll still do it after they fix the bug next week because I don't want them to come up the freaking ladder. I'm not gonna give them a free entrance because they've screwed up. Then the quick animation cancel. Not everyone knows this, but if you're collecting blood, you can double tap right click, and you can quickly end the animation so you can like get a faster collection of blood with less downtime and keep moving. Again, this is obviously not intended, but people, hey, it's just a cool little animation cancel. What's wrong with that? So I'm just giving examples of all these exploits that no one seems to have a real big problem with. I mean, they don't like the Johnny sprint attack one, but let's say most of them they don't have really a problem with, even both sides, except for the Johnny one. There's a lot of stuff they don't really have a problem with. Now the instant valve tech that we started doing. So my argument here is that, and I tell you how to do it, pressing right click plus E, you can instantly turn off the valve, right? Without channeling it. But this comes from the unfair mechanic of the pressure tank in general, which they could sit there, camp, stun lock you at Slaughterhouse in the lair. They can camp on either side of the gap. You have no way to get them. They're completely safe. Even with 2 people, they could just run in a straight line through one gap to the other and not die, especially if they're Ana or whatever. And they could just be threatening you. So now if you bring 2 people there, you lose the game because their other teammates get out the other exits. You bring 1 person there, you never can stop it. So there's no way to win just because they started the valve. This is very boring, unfun. There's pretty much no counterplay. And it's so easy for them to do, even with the stupid moving the 2 valves, which did jack shit, no offense. This is unfair, it's not fun. And that's, to me, where this comes from, as feeling more justified, because even though this does skip the channeling, they've almost done it versus me the other night, and they were just stunning me as I came close to it. That was the difference. Thing is, you have the channel for almost 10 seconds, and then they wait to the end of that because they know that, and then they stun you. They can just guarantee it. I don't think that's the point of this mechanic. I think the point is to be a distraction, to pull one person that's a family member from their patrol in the middle of chaos, cause some chaos, help your teammates make progress elsewhere. I don't think it's supposed to require multiple people that can both get double teamed by Leland easily. You can shoulder tackle one, backstab the other, no matter who you are, and just like guarantee a certain amount of progress. It's already going to be a constant threat forever after that. Any teammate can just press E on it because the valve's on and threaten it. So the rest of the game, someone's got to camp around there now. So either way, you're at a huge disadvantage, and it caused chaos and it took someone off their patrol. I feel like it does so much already that if you couldn't do this, it feels like, again, there's no point to playing family because you're just going to lose every time to this. It's not fun. It's not fun to lose to the same broken shit every single time. And they don't. It seems like victims just have no problem. Like they're appalled that they can't just camp there with their 2 bone shards and win the game off this shit, which is completely uncounterable. Again, this is like the reason I justify this tech is because I feel like it's not much different. You're pressing 2 buttons at the same time, but think about the fuse box body block. Again, it's an exit, it's escape that's considered so unfair. That's why people don't even have a big problem with it, because there's just nothing you could do about it. And it feels very similar to camping with bone scraps that are always put right behind the friggin' tank and just getting ready to stun you. Like, you can't win. You're going to lose the game every time. That's another reason people don't want to play family. I want them to actually balance this, though. And like I said, I would stop doing it completely if they make it so you can't get stun locked on there. If they stun you once, and then the next time you try to close the valve, you can close it, I'll try to work with that. I won't do it. You have my word right now. I won't do it ever again. Hopefully they fix it, too. I can't do it. But I won't do it if the game just feels more fair. It comes from the game not feeling fair, is what I'd say about that. The window thing on Family House, they have one chaser at the end of the map and abuse the infant. Yeah, I mean, the infant, See, those infinites is a little bit different because I don't know if the devs intend that or not. I don't know what they were thinking with that, to be honest, with the map design. But uh, it's more just like, I mean, that's just the kind of a game design problem. I mean, yes, it's I don't know if that's necessarily qualifies as exploiting as much as stun locks and other stuff that we can like just know for sure. They don't want people aggressively just stun locking you. They're supposed to be afraid of you. The I don't know, the infinites might be somewhat intended and just bad design because they think that you have to have two people there to get them, and they want that. I don't know. Honestly, I don't. They've said like both things, so I don't know about that. But it's either way, yes, it's unfair still in a lot of cases, but they might actually want it to be. I don't know. But I don't think they want the pressure tank to be this unfair with the camping with the bone scraps. I don't think they want fuse box to feel that unfair. That's why they're trying to slowly rework it and give you a way to stop it. Like that's why they're trying to do something, just really slow at it. But are the exploits justified? No. But we could see where they come from and why people use them. It's not fair for people to excuse some exploits but not others. If you're going to do the cook animation cancel, bro, I'm just doing an animation cancel too with the channeling. You might get to a vital thing a little faster that saves the game because of that animate. You know what I mean? Like the game could change because of that. Maybe not as much, but if you think about getting stun locked once by Leland, you get stunned by a shoulder tackle, unavoidable. Then he camps behind you and bone scraps you in the back, sneak attacks you. You're out of commission for at least 20 seconds, right? Let's say you're out of commission for like around 20 seconds. This channeling is around 10 seconds, so even the instant valve tech is skipping 10 seconds compared to, you're still at more of a disadvantage from them doing the most basic stun lock to you. That's unavoidable, by the way, compared to that. As I like to compare it like that because, you know what I mean? Like you're not dead from that, but they could get a vital thing done or something or be up somewhere while you're unable to do anything about that stun lock, which makes the game not fun or fair. I don't think the valve tech's necessarily fair either, but because the whole mechanic of the pressure tank is so unfair that I think most family will just quit the game if they deal with it enough, and they have been. That I feel like the only way to have any chance of countering it is something like this. Like you should be able to stop it with one person. You should be. They shouldn't be able to sit there with bone scraps as one victim while the other three are just can run wherever they want because you have to bring two people now, and then even if you stop it, they could still start it again at any moment. You know what I mean? Like they could just sneak back and start it again. It's not hard. That's the thing. Like it's not like they can't still win like that. They just can't win the first time they do it, which is probably not intended. They're probably not supposed to win the first time they start the pressure tank. They're just used to it. You know what I mean? They're supposed to probably have to like slowly distract you over and over again. Then it's like a threat. If you don't deal with it, you lose. So you have to deal with it. But I don't think it's supposed to be you start it once, that's game. I don't think that's how it's supposed to be. But I'm not the dev, but I don't think so. But yeah, the noise penalty is not even a penalty, I would say, for starting the tank and a lot of other stuff. It's often not a penalty. That's why people just spam it, don't give a shit, start it faster. There needs to be an actual penalty for that, since you have to take so much longer to stop it compared to them starting it. Like they don't care because the tank's gonna go off and make noise anyway, so you'll know they're there. So why do they give a shit if you know like 2 seconds earlier? It's not like it's gonna change anything. So they just spam E. That's just bad design right there. But it's not enough of a penalty. Like the basement rush meta I talk about, the channeling time. It's just all these things being taken advantage of is why I feel like the instant valve tech actually gives you some feeling of counterplay and not just losing, because they just did the most easy shit. You know what I mean? Like it's I don't know. It feels so unfair to go against, especially on Slaughterhouse. It just feels so unfair, so stupid, and the fact that we have now a way that they don't just win the first time they do, it's not even like they can't win through it, because they've almost done it before, just stunning me a couple times as I try to go to it and do that. I couldn't even do it because they stunned me so fast. But they still almost got it. I just didn't have to do the 10-second channeling where they wait 9 seconds of it, then stun me, so it's like guaranteed done. You know what I mean? Like that was the main difference. They still almost got it done. So it's not even like it's impossible to do it because of this. It's just harder, which it should be anyway. But I don't think this tech should be counter to it. But just right now, that's all it is. So that's how I feel. But if the developers make a statement on this and say like they tell people like if we catch anyone doing any exploits or something, which I think will start a slippery slope of that shit, because then there's gonna be a lot of like controversy with that. But if they did, I would still respect it even if I disagree, and I would respect their wishes and not do it. But for now, it's the Wild West. That's how I call it. Like it's the Wild West in the game. That's my point about the exploits. Like people will judge me for this. I don't really care. Yes, it's wrong of me to do it, but it's also wrong for all the others. You know what I mean? Like and I shouldn't have to wait till they do something wrong for me to do something wrong, because if they do something wrong, I lose the game already. So I just feel like I'm just gonna do whatever I can. They can do whatever they can and let the cards fall where they are. I don't want to have to do it. I want the devs to really balance the game. I want it to be fair. If the game felt fair, I would never do this. I just feel like this is still, like, even with the Valve tech, they could still do the Valve. They just can't get it the first time. That's the main difference, honestly. That's like the major difference. They could still eventually, it doesn't stop them from doing it. They could still do it. They just don't get it guaranteed the first, and they're so unhappy with that. I don't know. That's how I feel about that. Like, I want the mechanic to be balanced, though. I want the fuse box to be more balanced. I want it to be a fair and slower and difficult game for both sides. I just don't want it to be like they rush one thing, they spam it, you get stunned, they do it right in front of you, you lose. It's a boring meta. It's what happens all the time. You get grappled, you get stunned, they just do the fucking fuse box right in front of you, 3 people out. Maybe that one guy dies, then you lost. It just makes you not want to play the game. It's not fun. There's no stealth. There's no tactics. It's just stupid. So, I don't know. I want this to be better, but that's my rants. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you like this video, make sure to like, follow, subscribe, and all that other stuff that every other guy tells you to do. See you later.